Well, hello everyone and welcome to yet another Discussions with Dolf. And as you can see, we are still in Cuba. In fact, we are immensely enjoying these old classic vehicles. This is in fact a 1958 Thunderbird. It was the first model that came out with the two separate front seats and then the back seat as well. It's got an original V8 motor in it, which is rare. It's the only Thunderbird in Cuba with the original V8 still in it. So it's a lot of fun. And we're of course here not just to have fun and look at cars, although cars are almost symbolic of what's happening in real estate here. But we're here to discuss some of the real estate, and I've been here about half a week now, and as you can expect from me, I'll find out what's possible and what's not possible in real estate. And as of today, right now, it is not permitted for foreigners to own real estate. However, there are loopholes around everything, of course, and one way, I guess, would be to marry a Cuban. Whether you're a man and a woman and you marry someone who is of Cuban citizenship, that of course would give you an in. You might think that's a bit extreme, but right now there's a scandal going on in China because the divorce rate has gone up on account of their real estate rules. And specifically what's happening is they said that a couple cannot buy a second house without paying a huge penalty for this. They pay a huge premium to buy a second house. However, if you get divorced, then suddenly the expectation is that both the divorced man and the divorced woman should have the right to buy a home. So therefore, whoever doesn't get the original matrimonial home can end up acquiring another home. So many couples have decided that it's worth the social stigma of getting divorced in order to be able to buy a second home. Of course, this has become so pervasive. Word has gotten out that the government's clamping down on this, and now they've got all kinds of tests to see whether your divorce is a sham divorce or not. Now, it's so funny in a way because in years gone by, we had all kinds of tests to see whether a marriage was a sham marriage. For instance, in America, people might have gotten married in order to get a green card. So I just thought it was a very interesting contrast that now we're checking to see that a divorce is a real divorce to stop people from buying a second property as an investment home. Anyway, the notion of getting married to a Cuban to enable you to buy real estate is not completely far-fetched. But as I said on my last broadcast, mark my word, if the rules were to change here, then all of a sudden the value of real estate is really going to match that of international ones. It's a bit like the cars here. These cars could be bought almost a dime a dozen, not more than a dozen years or so ago. In fact, the value of a cabriolet, so our driver was telling us, was very low because no locals wanted to go in a cabriolet with only two doors. It was difficult to get in and out of the back seat, and if it rained, you got wet, of course, and there was all this sunshine falling on your head. But with the rise of tourism, which started in some small measure maybe a decade ago, but really started to surge some 5 years ago, that's when the value of these cars went up tremendously. Anyway, just goes to show that there's always an interesting angle, no matter what you're doing and no matter what your perspective. Anyway, that's all we've got time for this week, so I want to wish you, as always, successful investing. Thank you very much.